This is the end, beautiful friend.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Too Much CGI, the show where we love to talk about all those fun, nostalgic things we all grew up on. My name is Bill, here as always, the man sent by Large Marge herself, Scott. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Wow, what's with starting off with a downer here?
What's the downer?
I don't know. The end seems, this isn't as upbeat as we usually start off.
Oh, it is a little gloomy of a song. That's because today's topic is all about actors and their final movies, the end of their career.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. What would you have picked? I was thinking about it all day. What's the best song? I couldn't come up with anything else.
It's the final countdown.
You know what? I got to talk about our last episode and how good you sang throughout that. That might be our finest episode yet.
I did enjoy it.
As I was editing it and you started singing a song, I went and I grabbed the song and I put it underneath you.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, you matched perfectly. Not only did your timing match perfectly and your words hit exactly the same, but your pitch was almost perfect.
Well, the curse of being a musician.
You're some kind of idiot savant.
I'm some kind of idiot, all right. Yeah, that was funny. I did like listening back and hearing you put the sound in underneath. So it's not just me going solo out there, because the solo was not very good, I didn't think, but it was funny hearing it with the actual song underneath it.
That was a fun one to put together. Yeah, I got a bitch about something, though.
Okay.
It's not a normal episode if we don't have a barking dog or at least one shaking his head and rattling the collar. Or, me complaining about something. So I was thinking, what am I going to complain about today? And I was like, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't complain about anything today. I'm going to go in and be in a good mood today.
We happy? Yeah, we happy.
So I call my wife on the way home and, we haven't talked all day. We're shooting the shit. And I start telling her about what's going on with the new Snow White. Did you hear about the controversy with the Snow White movie?
No, I didn't even know there was a new Snow White movie.
So there's a new Snow White movie, and they just announced that the lead actress is, I think she's Spanish, and right away, that people were freaking out.
Of course.
Because you know how it is now. But they also changed the dwarves. They're no longer dwarves. They're people. They're like magical people, they're called. I forget what they call it. It's like Snow White and the magical crazy people, or something like that. They're changing the name of the dwarves to the magical people.
Oh.
And you got a tall one and a short one and a gay one and a straight one. So it's a very woke version of Snow White.
Sure.
And it's not out of character for what Disney's doing. So I was just kind of talking to Amy about it. And I was like, there's also like angry dwarves right now, because they're like, wait a minute, that should have gone to us. I'm like, everybody's angry. The dwarves are angry. The actors aren't working. They're afraid AI is going to take over. And I'm saying all this stuff to her. And I go, what do you think? And there was a pause. And she starts answering some other question. And I realized I'm in one of those situations. Remember Wayne's World when they were being interviewed by the radio DJ? And they realized that he's not listening at all. That was exactly what was going on with my wife. And I caught her. And I made her try to reply to what I was saying to her. It was completely off base. It was so far off, I couldn't believe it.
Talking about Wayne stock. Very exciting, big event. Everybody's excited, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be a big concert at Adlai Stevenson Park.
Uh-huh.
It's just going to be a big party, We got some great bands coming.
Uh-huh.
Like Aerosmith?
Uh-huh.
I just want to remind everybody that there's still plenty of tickets left.
Uh-huh.
But that's no reason to wait till the last minute.
Uh-huh.
Because it's just a chance for the city of Aurora
To do something.
Uh-huh.
fun
Uh-huh.
and to put the city on the map.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work.
Oh, well, work is hard.
You're not really listening to me, are you?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I could say anything right now, like, you're a complete tool.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't hear it, 'cause you're a freak with a microphone.
Uh-huh.
It's not even challenging anymore. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Isn't that true, Sphincter Boy?
Uh-huh. What?
Well, I'm listening to your question, Bill. I have thoughts on this. Why would it be okay for Willy Wonka to have Hugh Grant CGI'd as an Oompa Loompa in the new Wonka movie coming out? Portray him as a little person, but not have little people in Snow White. I think if it's okay for Willy Wonka, it's okay for Snow White.
I think anything anybody wants to do, as long as it doesn't hurt another person, is okay. But if everybody gets too sensitive, then everybody's going to be hurt. And my phrase doesn't work anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody seems so sensitive. I don't understand why. We never used to be this sensitive.
No. I think back to, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka, the one with Gene Wilder. They used actual actors that were little people to portray the Oompa Loompas, with their dancing and their singing and their songs with their morals and whatnot and their Oompa Loompas. But now, well, actually not even now, going back to the shitty one with Johnny Depp, they'd use that CGI Oompa Loompa person. Now they're going back to the actual original Oompa Loompa design with the orange faces and the green hair and, but it's fucking Hugh Grant at the end of the new trailer. So they're not even using actual little people actors.
I stood next to him once. He's kind of short.
Not this short. He's standing on a tabletop. Apparently under a glass dome.
I've heard the outrage, that role should have gone to a little person. We should have gotten that role because we're little. That should have gone to a gay person because it's a straight person playing a gay person. Fine, if you want. I don't care. Frankly, I don't care because it's acting. And generally in acting, you pretend to be something you're not. So all this stuff, I just usually turn a deaf ear to it. I did laugh at the change of the Seven Dwarfs, because that's like whatever stance you have with wokeness, that's probably about as woke as it could get. You change Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to Snow White and the Seven Magical People.
Well, I think it's better than Snow White and the Seven Little People. That sounds too woke to me, I don't even like using that word woke. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we talked about it before. We don't talk much on this show about that because there's so many definitions, and I never know when I'm talking to somebody about wokeness what definition they actually have. So I don't know.
Yeah,
nobody's talking the same language when woke comes up.
Wake up, you filthy monkey.
Hey, everyone, want to remind you, please like and subscribe and smash that bell and do all those things the cool kids say to do when you own a podcast. We would love for you to share the podcast with your friends if you think you know somebody who would enjoy this kind of content. If you want to chat with us, you can go to toomuchcgi.com. You can send us mail through there. You can see a beautiful picture of me and Scott.
Yes.
You can also go to Twitter and look at Too Much CGI. We can communicate through there. Sometimes I post interesting stuff through there when I remember. And finally, this is our third week in a row. We have a sponsor. Liquid IV, everybody. Go out, get some Liquid IV. You want to feel better. You're hot. I think it was 100 degrees today in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And humidity is through the roof.
And I didn't have my Liquid IV on me.
Yeah.
Fell right down into the street twice. We were talking about it though over the weekend. So my friends got me out. They finally made me go out. And I was like, all right, I'll go out. I'm not drinking. I'm taking a drinking break. I want to lose some pounds. So the worst thing in the world is hanging out with drunk people when you're not drunk. And everyone's talking about, oh, I didn't get my Liquid IV. And I was like, that's funny. Everybody's talking about Liquid IV. It's like, it's almost a thing now. We don't even have to advertise it. Everybody seems to know that this thing is the hangover cure.
Mention promo code TooMuchCGI at checkout. Save yourself 20%.
That's right. That is our call to action, and I have to read this verbatim, but thank you for trying there, Scott. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code TooMuchCGI at checkout. That's 20% off anything with capital letters you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TooMuchCGI, and that's not the number 2. We're not that cool. It's TOOMUCHCGI at liquidiv.com. All right, the commercial is over, Scott.
All right, moving on.
Moving on to surprise fact of the week. It's back.
You got another one?
It's back. I have another one. And this one just came to me today.
It's not about Dumbo.
It's not about Dumbo. It's better.
Okay.
It's about Stevie Wonder. Did you know that motherfucker can drum?
I don't think I knew that.
There's a video going around YouTube since the 70s where he's on stage and somebody comes up, picks him up, walks him away from his piano and onto a drum set, and the motherfucker does a massive drum solo, and it's incredible. Did you know that there are a lot of people that think Stevie Wonder is not blind?
Really?
Yeah. And there's websites and all kinds of articles and all sorts of celebrity testimonials to prove that the guy's not blind. And there's a video out there of a mic stand falling down and you see him reach out to grab it. How does a blind guy do that?
And it didn't make any noise or anything, that he didn't notice or sense that it was falling and he just grabbed it?
You see it. Yeah, he just grabbed it. Well, at least that's what it looks like. You know, from that angle, it also looks like it kind of fell, hit him in the shoulder, and he picked it up.
Okay.
You know? Right. So it all depends on what kind of conspiracy theorist you are. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are pulling up videos. They're like, see, this proves that he can see.
What would the end game of this be? The guy is a very accomplished, successful musician. He's very good. Being blind, I think, is not a part of the success that he's had. You think it's like how he got his break and he just has to keep it going? This sounds like something that fucking George from Seinfeld would do.
I think there might be truth to maybe he's not fully blind. Maybe he's just mostly blind to the point where unless there's something bright kind of pushing through, he can't see. And what I mean is, like, I've heard about situations where you're blind to the point where if there's a lot of light and there's something solid in front of you, but there's still a lot of light coming off to the side, it can create enough contrast to where you can almost see depth.
So you can see shadows, but you can't really, you're not reading a book.
No, nothing like that.
Right.
More of like you're getting some sight to help you with your overall senses, but never enough to go, oh, I can see what you look like. I know what you look like. I can read that book. Yeah, that could be true.
I guess. Yeah, for sure. And on stage, there's going to be a lot of stage lights coming right in your face. So anything of contrast would be a shadow. Okay. But why are somebody trying to out this guy as sight able?
Some people have nothing to do.
In the world of conspiracy theorists, this isn't at least hurting anybody. This is pretty tame. I don't support this. I don't buy into this, but I don't get why anybody would care. Nobody came after Ray Charles.
I would like it. I would really like I would like it if it came out to be true. Stevie Wonder's been conning us the whole time. I would enjoy that.
That's one hell of a hustle. If it is true, good for you, Stevie. I'm almost more impressed you can keep it going this long. I also love that there's people at home like looking at videos on their computer like, I got the smoking gun. Get a fucking life, people.
I think about those people all the time. I'm like, what's it like to have that kind of free time where you just find yourself lost into the deep pages of the internet looking at old videos of Stevie Wonder?
Those are the same kind of assholes that sit and listen to a podcast and point out everything that the fucking hosts say is wrong. And then take the time to email in and tell us about it. Fucking losers.
Oh.
Not you, Tim. You're good.
Well, that brings us right to...
Mail, motherfucker!
Yeah, I think you played Mail Motherfucker and the Boop Boop Badoo at the same time there.
Oh, it was intentional. Because we got a lot of fuck-upperies through the email.
All right, bring it on.
You're really good at catching your own fuck-upperies, but I think you missed a lot this time.
So after the episode, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I don't think that song was on that album. And I went back and I looked and I was like, oops. Now nobody gives a shit. And they do.
Oh, yeah, they do. Well, the first one that came in was my wife, right? Because she heard the podcast the first day it came out. And she was so happy to call me.
She came into the office at 10 o'clock in the morning. 9:30, 10 o'clock. She was like, oh, I got a fuck-uppery already. And I was like, okay, let's hear it. And I apparently credited Patrick Swayze for the wrong song. It's supposed to be She's Like the Wind. And I said Patrick Swayze sang Hungry Eyes. How fucking dare I?
Yeah. Got a couple comments there. Brother Steve called out that as well. Actually, I'm going to read what Brother Steve wrote because he really had the good collection of them all.
Brother Steve, who you may all remember from our surprise game of classic movie sound effects, during which I beat the shit out of Bill pretty handily.
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
All right. He says, One Crazy Summer was not Demi Moore's first movie. St. Elmo's Fire was older, but still not her first. And then he writes, your favorite from back in the day, Late Night Boobs Out About Last Night, came out before One Crazy Summer. He and I watched that movie together. and About Last Night. And we were like, whoa.
That's the name of a movie?
Yeah, it's got Jim Belushi, Rob Lowe, Demi Moore. And it was like, we're little kids. And it was just a nudie movie.
And what's the name of it? About Last Summer.
No, About Last Night.
About Last Night. Okay, I've heard of that.
Did I confuse?
No. I think
One Crazy Summer and About Last Night.
There's a lot of words in there about boobs out, and I thought that was part of the title. So I was a bit confused as to what the actual movie name was.
Yeah, About Last Night. They even made a remake a couple years ago, I saw. He's got the Dirty Dancing comment. He's got this one. Kate Blanchett was one of the actors playing Bob Dylan in a movie, not David Bowie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you had said Kate Blanchett played David Bowie. All right, well, that's not too bad. What else has he got?
I mean, that's only 4 out of the 50 soundtracks we talked about.
He said Nirvana wasn't on the single soundtrack.
Did I say they were, or did you say they were?
No, yeah, you did. And I heard it too. And I went, I don't remember them on there. But, well, Scott's got a better memory than me, so I'm going to let it go. And then the last one is not really a fuck-uppery, but yeah, it kind of is. We didn't mention Footloose or Flashdance when we were talking about soundtracks. That's crazy of us to forget those two.
Yeah. I talked to a friend today at work, and he was surprised that we never talked about Beverly Hills Cop. That didn't make the list.
I thought it did.
I don't think it was on there.
I guess you're right. That is a crazy. That's a third
that
one.
Might
It's
be
another
next week's fuck-uppery, but I don't remember talking about it.
Great episode, but apparently we did a terrible job. Go back and listen. There's that for an advertisement.
Are those all the emails for fuck-upperies?
That's enough for now. We're going to keep it moving because we got a big show today.
Well, I have two that I'll own as well. I mentioned that Rage Against the Machine and 9 Inch Nails were both in the Crow soundtrack, and they were not. I must have mixed it up with something else. But The Cure and Rollins Band and My Life with a Thrill Kill Cult, all that stuff was on there.
I remember that had Rage Against the Machine. The guy played a guitar solo. And hearing a guitar solo in that era of the 90s was almost unheard of.
Yeah.
Tom Morello. It was a good little, fast little jazzy solo. And I was like, the fucker can play a solo.
Yeah.
That time bothered me so much because it was like uncool to do guitar solos.
And the Stone Temple Pilot song I couldn't think of the title of was called Big Empty, but I sang it instead. So you knew what I was talking about. That was the first time they released it.
Let's move on to Dead Celeb of the Week.
Okay.
Have you heard of Machine Gun Kelly?
I have.
Yeah, it died 1954 on this day. He was 59. I was trying to get you to think the current Machine Gun Kelly died.
Who's the old Machine Gun Kelly?
Did you not know?
I guess not.
There's a gangster. Yeah, there's a gangster named Machine Gun Kelly that he took his name from.
Oh, okay.
So there's no dead celebs. So I had to go back into the archives and look at an old dead celeb.
I'd have to imagine that the old Machine Gun Kelly actually earned that name, and the new Machine Gun Kelly is just a fucking poser.
He looks like one.
I guess he gets to bang Megan Fox, so he wins.
I think they broke up.
Oh, I guess he loses. You lose, sir. You get nothing, sir.
Let's ask Google. Is Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly still together? And they say they are back together.
Okay.
They have explored therapy.
Well, then I'll see myself out.
And who fucking knows? Oh, this is from May 22nd, 2023. They probably broke up 20 times since then.
You're probably right.
I always think it's fun to go to Google and try to get an answer accurately.
It's better to actually ask Google, so have her talk from this website, so-and-so. It says here. All right, I'm tired of you, bitch.
I wish we could change voices on those. Like not just change, because you can on the assistant, the Google one, but you know, you can give it like different tones of a male or female voice. But I want to put on like Darth Vader, you know? Remember the Garmin systems or the TomTom systems?
I was just going to say that. Look, they got Mark Hamill doing air raid announcements over in Ukraine right now. Remember that?
Yeah. I want a Harrison Ford on my my system. Turn on the air conditioning.
You know, I stapled my hat to my head once.
I tried to listen to more of those fucking interviews with him. God, he's weird. So fucking
weirdo.
How about we move along into what are you watching? What are you watching? So I've got two things on the list here. One, I think you watch, but the other, I'm not sure you even know about. So I'll start with the other first. There's a show, and I think it's on ABC, but I watch it on Hulu. It's called The Prank Panel. Have you heard of this?
This sounds like one of those cringe shows that I have to be in the right mood for.
Yeah, so this has on Johnny Knoxville. It's got Eric Andre, who I talked about a couple episodes ago. And is it Gabrielle Sidibe? I know she's got a unique spelling of her first name. Do you remember her? She played Precious.
Oh, Gabrielle. Yeah, I do know her. Yeah, Gabrielle, I think it is.
It's Gabourey. Gabourey Sidibe. Anyway, so two comedians, two funny people who do pranks on each other, and an actress. It's like The Voice. It's like American Idol. No, it's more like The Voice. You know, the judges hear a voice and they say, I'll work with you and I'm going to turn you into a big star. These three people get pitches from regular people who walk in and they say, I would like to prank my brother for this reason. And this is the prank I want to do. And some of the pranks are good and some of the pranks are bad. But the good pranks, they stand up and they say, I'll do this prank with you. And then you watch the footage of them setting up the prank and committing the prank.
This is almost like Shark Tank for people wanting to get on this pranking. That's pretty cool.
Pretty much. And I think there's only been 3 episodes so far. Sometimes it hits and sometimes you're laughing your ass off. And sometimes you're scratching your head going, what's wrong with this production that they think that's funny? But it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting show. I may have talked to you about this off the air, but apparently this show got so violent behind the scenes between Johnny Knoxville and Eric Andre. Like Johnny would just walk up behind Andre while he's getting a cup of coffee, off air. They're just chilling and zap him in the back of the neck with a taser or something.
Shit.
Like that. So much so that Eric Andre says he quit the show. He's like, I quit. I said, I can't do it. I said, I love Johnny, but Johnny's way of doing shit is too extreme for me. I'm just not able to work with Johnny this way. So finally, Johnny's like, all right, come on back. I won't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I get a little out of hand.
Of course, the first time back in the studio, he probably fucking clubs him in the back of the leg with a bat or something.
Yeah. It didn't last long because at some point later on, he's telling the story too. He's like, yeah, well, I was talking to Jeff Tremaine, right? He's the guy that makes the Jackass movies. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't know what to do. And he goes, well, the only way that you could stop Knoxville is to hurt him worse than he can hurt you. So Eric Andre says he goes in one day to this show, to this, probably one of the tapings I just watched. And he said he came in with his own taser.
Oh,
he just stabs Knoxville in the side of the neck and turns the taser on, like turns it all the way on and just, and Johnny, like some kind of monster, turns his head and looks at him slowly, and just stares at him. The guy cannot be taken down with a taser.
Holy shit. He's like immune to it.
Could you imagine seeing that?
No, not at all.
This dude's taken so much pain in his life that the taser couldn't even stop him.
That's insane.
Anyway, funny story. Probably funnier hearing it from Eric Andre, but I tried.
No, I have not watched this show at all. I have heard of it, but never seen it.
All right. Well, moving on to something I think you do watch because we've talked about it. Do you watch Minty on YouTube?
Yes, I do watch Minty. He's not one of my daily watches. He puts out stuff pretty sporadically, like regularly, but not every day like some of the people I watch do. So I don't watch him as often as I watch the others we mentioned last week. But yeah, he does it's always like a list, like 10 things you didn't know about National Lampoon's Vacation, or 10 things you didn't know about Jaws was one I think we talked about before our episode a couple back. So yeah, I really do enjoy what he puts together. He's an Australian guy. Australian humor can be a little corny sometimes, but damn, the information's solid, so I put up with it.
Every episode is like 10 things you didn't know about Jaws 2, and they're fascinating. They're all fascinating. Everything he talks about is like, that's good information.
Yeah, like I watched 10 things you didn't know about Empire Strikes Back, and I was like, yeah, go ahead, try me, asshole. And no shit, I learned 4 things I didn't know about Empire Strikes Back.
I like watching him because he reminds me of me and you, but to an extreme. Like, we're fans, but this guy's a super fan. Like, he turned his garage into a blockbuster.
I know.
I don't know if you saw that episode. That's pretty cool.
I did see
that.
Like,
he's collecting this stuff.
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of the Angry Video Game Nerd over there at Cinemassacre. He has, like, his whole own video story set up with VHS tapes and shit.
Oh, yeah, as his backdrop. Yeah, I've seen that, too. Well, Minty's a good show. He's another YouTuber. Another, like we're YouTubers. He's a YouTuber. We are YouTubers. We have our show on YouTube, right?
True.
Doesn't that make us YouTubers?
Yeah. Yeah, his whole office, his whole backdrop of where he shoots is just like a collection of all kinds of 80s. Some of it's Funko. He has a Flash Gordon shirt back there. He has like a Jason hockey mask. It reminds me of like a much exaggerated version of what you have in your office there with your collectibles.
He's cooler than me. When are we going to put our faces on screen? Everybody asks me.
I don't know, man. You tell me. This is your show.
It's your show too. Put your bald ass on the screen. I'll talk to your anus.
Very Ace Ventura.
Well, what do you say we move into our main topic here?
Yeah.
We've shot the shit enough.
We're about to do it for about 30 more minutes.
We're going to make a little game out of this, I think. So what I did is I went through the internet. I scoured the internet. I spent days going through and finding actors that we know, mostly know, and figuring out what their final movie was. So what I can do is I can read the name and I can ask you, Scott, to name their final movie.
Okay.
You want to play this game?
I don't know how I'm going to do, but I'll give it a shot.
Everyone you get wrong, a stranger gets to walk up and kick you in the nuts.
Very Eric Andre of you. I thought I was going to get tasered.
Yep. Most people don't carry tasers. Everybody has a shoe on. All right, I'm pulling for you and your nuts. How about Fred Gwynn? Fred Gwynn, Herman Munster.
Fred Gwynn's last movie was My Cousin Vinny. He played the judge.
You sure? You sure it wasn't Pet Sematary? Sometimes they come back.
That was good of him, too. No, My Cousin Vinny definitely came out after Pet Sematary.
Good call. You got it right. My Cousin Vinny, Fred Gwynn.
All right.
His last movie. That was a good movie. I remember that.
That was a very good movie. Yeah. Marissa Tomei, Joe Pesci. I think it's fantastic.
How about Robin Williams?
Robin Williams. I know what I wish it would have been. I wish he would have been the Riddler in Batman Forever, but we never got that. Was it animated? Was he a voice? Or was it actually live action?
It was live action.
I don't think I know.
So it's a movie that I never heard of that features Simon Pegg, Kate Beckinsale, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam. So a lot of people are in this movie. It's called Absolutely Anything, 2015. Do you know this movie?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
And I thought it was Robin Williams as Theodore Roosevelt Night at the Museum's The Secret Tomb.
This one evidently just beat it.
Oh,
That's probably the last movie he did that you've heard of.
could be. That's weird. There's a lot of people that are in that you should have heard of.
But it was still a big old flopperoo.
As they often are.
How about Paul Newman?
The Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks, right? He was the Irishman.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I think it is.
That would be Cars, the cartoon. He played the, I forgot what kind of car he was. He was like a
He was a
Fiero, if I remember
he
right.
wasn't.
He was a gremlin. Yeah, he was like a Lincoln Cutlass or something. Like a big old fucking boat of a car.
It was an old race car, right? And then he became the sheriff of the town. Paul Newman.
Yeah, Paul Newman.
This article you sent me says it was Road to Perdition.
Yeah, you're reading the wrong article. I set you up. I sent you the false info. We have controversy here already. I love it.
Controversy.
Two controversial answers. Was Cars really Paul Newman's last movie? Was Absolutely Anything really Robin Williams' last movie? We'll never know. There's no way to find out. All right, how about this one? Bruce Lee.
Enter the Dragon. No. Was that? They
You tell me.
did that thing where they did Enter the Dragon, then they like remade Enter the Dragon for a national audience because it was, an export, but then they actually shot it in Hollywood. I'm going to say Enter the Dragon.
Technically, yeah, it's Enter the Dragon. You're talking about Fist of Fury? No, the one where he was climbing the ladder and he's fighting
Yeah.
the big tall basketball player. What's the name of that one? Damn it. He's wearing the yellow jumpsuit.
Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. So that's using footage because he never finished making that movie. So technically, he didn't finish that movie. So I guess they didn't put it on the list for that reason.
Okay. That was House of the Dragon.
Wasn't it Game of Death? Yeah, Game of Death, 1978.
Okay.
They have a guy named Kim Tai-chung playing the same character as Bruce Lee. So there's times where all of a sudden you're watching this movie, you're like, that dude's not Bruce Lee.
Right.
They just got a guy that looked like him and tried to pass him off as Bruce Lee. And I don't know if they thought
That's racist, sir.
the
That's
audience
racist,
would
sir.
notice. I mean, did they think we wouldn't notice that wasn't Bruce Lee? There was shots sometimes where it was just his face.
I know.
The other actor.
Yeah.
And they put big old sunglasses on to try to convince you it was 1970s Bruce Lee. Yeah. Did not work.
No, sir.
All right. How about Raul Julia?
Oh, we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Played M. Bison in Street Fighter.
That's right. That was his last movie.
Yeah.
What a shame.
I know. I'll always remember him as Gomez Adams.
This one I doubt you'll know. This one's pretty hard. We're getting into the harder ones. In fact, I think this one's very hard. I should have put this one down on the list, but sometimes you surprise me.
Yeah, I'm knocking the rest of these out of the park. Sure. Please throw me a hard one.
Christopher Reeve.
The last thing he appeared in or the last thing he actually filmed?
The last thing he fell off of.
That was a horse, sir.
Yeah, I think the last thing he filmed.
I don't know. All I know him from really is Superman.
I know, man. Same. He's got other movies, and I never saw a single other movie. I've only ever seen Superman. A Step Toward Tomorrow, a 1996 movie I've never heard of. All right, here's the next one. Chris Farley. What was Chris Farley's last movie?
Chris Farley was in the Artie Lang, Norm Macdonald masterpiece of Dirty Work.
How about it, man? I didn't think you were going to get that.
Yeah.
He plays Jimmy No-Nose.
Yeah, he didn't have a nose. But he got even with the bastards that took it.
Oh! You bit my new nose off! Damn it!
I don't remember that movie that well. Is that worth a rewatch?
People shit on it. And I know when Artie was on the Stern Show, they made fun of Dirty Work a lot. But if you like Norm Macdonald, you're going to like Dirty Work. I have the DVD. You can borrow it if you have a player. I don't even have a DVD player anymore.
I might have an old PlayStation that could play it.
Oh, man. Your Xbox will play it.
Yeah. It's probably bootlegged on YouTube.
I'm sure of it.
I love that guy's comedy, Norm Macdonald. I think he's hysterical, but I remember watching that movie and going, It's always funny to me when a great comedian does bad comedy. Like, you ever see, like, Saturday Night Live's a great example. Like, here's all these incredibly funny people going and delivering these lines that are just terrible. And it's like the performers are funnier than what's written for them. Sometimes I wish we would just take the script and throw it away and just go.
I mean, here's something that maybe nowadays isn't a hot take, but back in the day, I was never an Adam Sandler fan. Like, I've always thought his albums were funnier than his movies. His movies are like really watered down versions of what I thought was funny about Adam Sandler.
I loved his albums. And I went to see a concert of his, and I thought it was a stand-up show, and he was playing all this music that wasn't on the comedy albums.
Oh.
Yeah, left halfway through.
No Toll Booth Willie?
No, him and a guitar and a full rock band. I was like, oh, wasn't expecting this.
Wow.
I knew there was a band, but I thought they were going to do like skits.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, going back to Chris Farley, though, as his role in this, he was kind of just like a character actor in the background. It wasn't like a huge role or anything like that.
What was his last main movie, you think?
He was in one where it was him and Matthew Perry from Friends, and they played Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, they were pioneers.
Pioneers
right.
going out west with Sacagawea.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
That poor guy.
Wait, tell him the best part. Well, sir, to be quite honest, the best part is I don't even have a brother. I ate the sheep shit.
Wow.
Do you remember that at all?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. How do you do this?
I don't know.
All right. How about Leonard Nimoy? What was Leonard Nimoy? Nimoy. I liked his voice. I can't do it.
You're looking for a movie, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. His final movie. Nimoy.
I don't know. Like, I know he did a lot of stuff with like Big Bang Theory, and he did voiceover for The Simpsons and stuff like that, much later in his life. But did his acting go beyond Star Trek 5?
Yep. Star Trek Into Darkness. I think that was the second.
It was him and Zachary Quinto, and he played old Spock.
Right.
Okay. I did see that. Okay.
That one was made by J.J. Abrams, right?
Yes.
Well, that's like the first multiverse ever
You're right.
in film. All right. We're going to get a little harder, Scott. You're going to like this one.
Great.
Jim Varney.
Ernest Scared Stupid?
Nope. Jim Varney's last movie was a movie nobody's ever heard of called Daddy and Them.
Ugh.
How about Mel Blanc?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to say Space Jam.
No, he was dead long before Space Jam.
I have no idea.
The Jetsons movie.
All right. All right.
Did you know there was a Jetsons movie?
Is that when they met the Flintstones? And the Great Gazoo was there?
You know, I don't know if that's this, but I do remember that. That was fun.
That was the first in-universe crossover.
That's true.
It was the Hanna-Barbera universe.
What'd you like more?
Jetsons or Flintstones?
Well, then wait a minute. So if that was the first, maybe Scooby-Doo and all of those crossovers was even earlier? When did Scooby-Doo be Batman and all them and the Harlem Globetrotters?
Yeah, that was Scooby movies. Laurel and Hardy, Three Stooges. They met all of them. Don Knotts.
Did they meet like Sandy Duncan one time?
They did.
Sandy Duncan.
I just remember Scooby kept going, Don Knotts, Don Knotts. It was Don Knotts. And he was in there playing like his character from Andy Griffith. But it was Don Knotts. It was not the officer, his character.
Well, Scoob.
Well,
Run, Run. All right. Let's move on. Heath Ledger.
That was been where he played the Joker.
What if it wasn't?
So that was the last thing he filmed, right? Whether they released something that he filmed prior or after The Dark Knight, that'd be something different.
They list here The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
You got me there.
I know, man. That's a clunker. You never heard of that one.
That does not roll off the tongue. How the fuck did they get that title through Workshop?
Yeah, really. I'm sure the producers were like, this is a great name. It's going to look great on a marquee. It'll be easy to sell tickets to the Imaginarium of Dr. My tongue is tied. Oh, I slipped an easy one in here. Brandon Lee.
That was The Crow.
The Crow. Do you know how that death happened? You know, I mean, other than somebody shot a gun with a blank in there.
It was supposed to be a blank, but it was like the shell of an old blank like packed in there and shot out. It wasn't an actual bullet like it was in Rust, but it was a blank, a mishap with the firearm.
With the casing. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah, a casing from another round stuck in there and shot out and actually killed him on the set.
So he wasn't killed by a real bullet. He was killed by the casing, which I guess when it gets shot out like that, probably flies into a little ball,
Sure.
like a crumpled ball. That explosion probably. Yeah. So it's like a bullet.
It's no different from a musket shot back in the Civil War.
Yeah. Man, that really sucks. That just hearing that story, man, because when you go and see The Crow and you know the guy's dead, you're never going to get another crow.
It really did bring a downer to it.
It's sad.
Man. It did.
That was the first movie I think I ever bought on the side on the sidewalk on the streets of New York City. That was the first bootleg I ever got. The first, it was a VHS with somebody holding a VHS camera, filming the whole thing. Did you ever own a bootleg?
Yeah, I think mine was X-Men First Class. Oh, no. I think mine was X2, the sequel to the original X-Men with Patrick Stewart. And you know why I think that? I think it was that one because it didn't have finished special effects. Like there was one where Sabretooth and Wolverine are fighting like on top of a tractor trailer, but the Sabretooth model is just like a silver outline. It's not like filled in. They never rendered the graphics onto it. So it's not a completed. So I think I have a bootleg not shot on like a handheld cam or anything. It was like from the studio, like a leak basically is what my first bootleg was.
I wonder if that's Wolverine Origins.
Oh, maybe.
Because that one did leak out.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah, that one did leak out. And I heard that. I heard it had missing special effects on there.
Yeah, it was one of those like running from a helicopter and the helicopter's just not even there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I think it was because that was one with Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, but like badly. That was it. That was Wolverine Origins and not X2.
Yeah, I had a DVD of the Fantastic Four Part 2, and it was perfect DVD quality. And I was just like, holy fuck, how did I get my hands on this? I was like, I'm the coolest human being in the fucking world. I own a perfect DVD quality copy of a movie that's in the theaters right now. And then the FBI knocked and took me to jail.
Was this Jessica Alba's Invisible Woman and Chris Pine's Human Torch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, once that shit went to digital, goddamn, it would leak out like crazy. Everything leaks.
Was it LimeWire?
Oh, who knows back then? Yeah, I used LimeWire. I used BitTorrent.
Oh, Torrent, yeah.
How about John Candy?
So I think there's some controversy around this. I think his last filmed movie was a personal favorite of mine, Cool Runnings. I'll watch it every time it's on television. But then they did release like Wagons East and another one in the theaters after Cool Runnings, but he actually filmed those before. The last thing he actually filmed was Cool Runnings.
So on my list, I have Canadian Bacon.
Canadian Bacon would have been the other one with Wagons East. That I'm getting this from Minty. Minty said that, this I actually just had the other week, 10 things you don't know about Cool Runnings, and he said this was John Candy's last movie. He passed away shortly after.
Huh.
But the filming, theatrical release-wise, would show that these two would be the last ones.
That doesn't seem right. But we don't doubt Minty.
I'm not doubting Minty.
We never. No, I don't either. George Carlin?
Oh, he was in the fucking Mallrats, or the one where he's sucking dick on the road. He's a tractor trailer driver. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I love the journey you took to get that answer. And that's what I was hoping you'd say, but the real answer is happily and never after. Happily never after. And apostrophe ever after.
He should have stopped at Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Ask gas or grass, nobody rides for free.
Oh, yeah. How about Elizabeth Taylor?
No idea.
I remember it was kind of a big deal that she made an appearance, but she was in the Flintstones.
Like the Rick Moranis and the John Goodman Flintstones?
Yeah, she played John Goodman's mom, I think, or maybe she was Wilma's mom.
That's interesting. I'd see her playing like a mother-in-law and Fred being, that's how their humor worked in the Flintstones.
Yeah, Elizabeth Taylor is one of those people to me like Morgan Fairchild. Like, I've never seen them in anything.
Yeah.
But I know they're important figures.
I agree.
From show business.
The only thing you see Morgan Fairchild in anymore is fucking Old Navy commercials around Christmas time.
I only see her in Pee-wee's Big Adventure when I go back and watch it over and over and over and over.
Mr. Herman, paging Mr. Herman. You have a telephone call.
Paging Mr. Herman.
EW.
Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
BW. All right, how about Patrick Swayze? He's already vexed you quite a bit today. Will you get a kick in the balls from this?
I almost hesitate to take a guess for all the fucking Swayze heads out there that are coming for my throat here. No, I don't even have a guess.
I wouldn't know this one. Powder Blue, 2009.
All right.
You're going to start noticing a trend as we get deeper along. There's a lot of movies you never heard of. And it's a sad, thing to see these guys go out like a wet fart.
Sure. I mean, Patrick Swayze was known for, Ghost, Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, Point Break.
Yep.
To have it all come down to that. I still think one of the funniest things he ever did was, speaking of one of our other questions on here, him and Chris Farley doing that Saturday Night Live Chippendale skit. That's still one of my favorite things.
Probably my favorite thing is his version of Hungry Eyes. My favorite thing he's done is his version of She's Like the Wind.
Really? My favorite's his version of Hungry Eyes.
Hungry Eyes. How about this old star? Marlon Brando falls into that list with Elizabeth Taylor for me.
Yeah.
Other than like being
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. And Godfather.
And The Godfather. I don't know what else he did.
Yeah, me too. So I'll give you this one. 2014, he was in The Score. Never heard of that.
I feel like there's this class of like Liz Taylor and Marlon Brando and like Orson Welles and these people who are supposed to be big deals, but it's just like gun to my head, I would not be able to pull anything out. I got Cleopatra.
Yeah.
I got the Transformers movie. And I got fucking Apocalypse Now. Those are the three movies I can name for those three actors.
Well, how about Dennis Hopper?
And he was in Speed.
Mm-hmm. The wonderful Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, but Speed was after that. Speed's the last thing I can remember him from, so I'm going to go with that.
Nope.
Nope.
He was in the last film festival in 2016, Another Turkey. Never heard of it.
There is that trend again.
Yep. We're going to keep the trend going. Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. We got a twofer.
Wow.
What was their last movie? They did it together.
Ocean's 11.
Cannonball Run 2.
Really? I had no idea they were in it.
Yeah. I don't remember them in it at all. Shit. Maybe I don't know Cannonball Run 2 that well. I know the first one a bit.
Yeah.
What do you think of those movies? They're funny. You can't make them now.
No. They were another good example of we were laughing at the racist redneck assholes, like the sheriff and his son. We were laughing at them, not with them. That was how I remember it.
A lot of stereotypes.
A lot of stereotypes.
How about Sean Connery? You know what his last movie was?
Nope. I want to say it was The Rock, but I know it wasn't. Oh, hold on. Extraordinary Gentlemen. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Was that it?
Yeah, well, no, but that's what I was trying to lead you to. It was some fucking animation. He did a movie called Sir Billy, 2012 animation. Sean Connery went out with a shitty cartoon voice in something we've never heard of. Shameful.
Goddamn waste.
How about John Belushi?
He was supposed to be in Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Blues Brothers.
No, Neighbors from 1981. I've never seen that either. Neighbors.
Me neither.
Have you heard of it?
No.
I think if I'm right, it's a black comedy. It's not his normal kind of role. Yeah, I'm going to put that on the list to see.
He was in Blues Brothers, right? It was him and Aykroyd.
Right. Oh, and then they did that Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah.
And instead of Belushi, I think they put in John Goodman.
It was his brother. No, it was John Goodman was in there, but then they took Jim Belushi and put Jim Belushi in there doing Blues Brothers with Aykroyd.
What's Jim Belushi doing right now?
He was doing shitty sitcoms.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
Jim Belushi got mentioned twice on this show.
Yeah.
What was Elvis Presley's last movie?
Was he in something called Blue Hawaii?
He was, but it wasn't his last movie.
That was pretty early on, though. No, I don't know.
Change of Habit, 1969. I don't think I've ever seen an Elvis Presley movie. I don't think I've ever really cared to.
Me neither.
What was Gene Hackman's last movie?
Royal Tenenbaums.
Good guess. Welcome to Mooseport.
Oh, I saw Welcome to Mooseport. It was him and Steve Martin. They were like running rival campaigns against each other, I think.
Didn't that have the guy who, Raymond? Wasn't that guy in it?
Oh, you know what? You're right. It was Ray Romano. It wasn't Steve Martin.
Yeah, they were trying to make Ray Romano happen.
Yeah. Everybody loved him, but not in Mooseport.
2004. So that's when Gene Hackman retired, because he's not dead. He's retired.
I didn't think so. It actually threw me off when you asked this question.
Yeah.
So he could still come back and do something else.
At this point, since 2004, he hasn't come back. He's probably out for good.
I'm not saying he should. I'm saying he could.
How about River Phoenix?
Last thing he would have been in was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
The answer is Dark Blood from 2012. Another clunker you never heard of.
I thought he died long before 2012.
Not according to my information that came from the internet.
Well, then I stand down, sir.
How about Bob Hoskins?
Oh, fuck. Was he a voice in a cartoon?
No, this is a live action fantasy movie. I'll be amazed if you get this.
Shit. I think I should know this, too. Was he like in one of the Lord of the Rings?
No.
And I give up.
Snow White and the Huntsman, 2012.
Oh, I saw that.
Saw it and forgot it.
Yeah. Parts of it I can remember.
That's like that, remember Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunter?
Had Matt Damon in it?
No, I think it had the guy who played Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner.
Oh, okay.
So this feels like it was trying to do that thing. I think they were trying to make fairy tale action movies happen for a minute there.
They would try to take everything that was public domain from the Brothers Grimm and turn it into something. And it didn't work for any of it.
How about Jackie Gleason?
Was his last thing Caddyshack 2?
No, Nothing in Common, 1986. I would have said The Toy. Remember The Toy?
Oh, that was a good movie.
With Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
How about Gene Wilder?
Damn, I don't know. I feel like he stopped acting long before he passed away. I don't know.
So this surprised me because I don't know this movie either. And the year is interesting. So it's called Another You from 1991. Yeah, I thought he was done way before that.
Yeah, I would have guessed much earlier than that too.
How about Brittany Murphy? Remember her?
8 Mile.
Something Wicked, 2014.
Okay.
She went out on a clunker. How about Red Fox? I know you like Red Fox, so I had to put him in.
Red Fox. It was a movie. I don't remember him from any movies.
It's an Eddie Murphy movie.
Was he in Coming to America?
No.
No? I have no idea then.
1989's Harlem Nights.
Okay.
I don't think I ever saw that one. I think that's probably the only Eddie Murphy movie I have not seen. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen Boomerang either.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this one.
How about Harold Ramis? What was his last movie? And we're not counting the new Ghostbusters where they CGI'd him.
Okay. I was going to say the one that he actually filmed. I don't know. He was in some good stuff, though.
If you get this.
He was in Knocked Up with Seth Rogen.
Was he? Was he the doctor?
He played the dad. He played Seth Rogen's dad, and he was just like, hey, man, whatever.
I'm
almost positive that was Harold Ramis.
Are
you in his IMDb right now?
Well, that's where I got all this faulty information from. But it says here, Harold Ramis last appeared in Year One in 2009.
Oh, okay. So that was still with Seth Rogen, Year One. Jack Black and Michael Cera.
Right.
Okay. Is Knocked Up on there? Like, was he in that?
No.
No,
I don't have that. Controversy.
I thought he played Seth Rogen's dad in that.
Maybe. That movie was forgettable for me. Like, that was Jack Black Fever and the other kids, Sarah.
Michael Cera.
He was hot then at the time, too. And then I remember thinking, wow, this movie can't miss. And I remember watching some of it and going, this movie missed. I never finished it.
Yeah.
Therefore, nobody should watch it. Next two I got. Then we're all done this game. All done. The next one, Bob Denver. Who is Bob Denver?
Bob Denver was Gilligan.
There you go. What was his last movie?
I have no idea.
If you get this, you will be very sexy to me if you get this.
No idea what Bob Denver's last movie was.
I won't be able to look at you the same if you get this. Back to the Beach, 1987.
Well, feel free to look at me the same way. Back to the Beach. Was this like a sequel to Gilligan's Island?
No, this was a dumb 80s flick that came out. It was like a parody of the Beach Blanket Bingo type movies with Frankie Avalon and who's the other? Annette Funicelli or whatever her name is. So they were both in this.
Funicello.
Bob Denver was in it. Bad jokes all around. It was a terrible movie. Paul Rubens was in it. Finally get to say Paul Rubens on this episode. Paul Rubens sang The Bird.
And it actually means something. I like it. Harold Ramis did play Ben's dad in Knocked Up. I stand by it. It came out in 2 years earlier than that bullshit you mentioned, though.
I have a memory of him playing a doctor, like delivering a baby, but I don't know what the fuck that's all about.
Ken Jeong, he played the doctor in Knocked Up.
Oh, was that what started that guy's career? Or was that The Hangover?
Hangover started his career.
Oof. Talk about a meteoric career that went up and came down just as fast as it went up.
Now he's doing The Masked Singer.
All right, we got one more.
Oh, okay.
Here's the last one. This one made me laugh so hard. And if you get this right, like you will be the God of gods, the King of kings. The final movie of Mo Howard, sir. Give me the final movie of Mo Howard.
Oh, man. And it wasn't a Three Stooges movie.
Nope.
I have no idea. I know they all died very poor.
Oh, I would believe it after going to see the 1973 film Dr. Death, Seeker of Souls, featuring Mo Howard.
Oh, my God. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I guess he had to do some shitty horror movies to pay the bills. Dr. Death, Seeker of Souls. Well, that concludes our list. Hope that was fun. We've learned a lot, and we've learned nothing.
There's a lot of things in there I've never heard of, and there's a lot of things in there that I'm never going to see.
This did inspire a few that I'll go check out. Neighbors.
I never heard of Neighbors. That is interesting.
Yeah. And this Absolutely Anything with Simon Pegg, John Cleese. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, that was Robin Williams' last movie, right?
That's what this bullshit information says from IMDb.
All right.
So we must trust it. We must blindly trust everything we read on the internet. Speaking of things we read on the internet, here is news from the internet.
Oh.
From MSN.com, Adam Devine says superhero movies killed comedies. Do you know who Adam Devine is?
Yeah, he's the lead singer for Maroon 5, right?
No, it's not Adam Levine. But you've seen this guy. You've seen him in Modern Family. He plays the boyfriend of the oldest teen girl.
And
he was in Workaholics. He's been in a couple movies.
Oh, I do know this guy. I do know this guy. Yeah. He was in Pitch Perfect.
Maybe.
Yeah, he was.
I wouldn't admit I've seen that. You shouldn't either. Amongst mixed company. Actor Adam Devine has suggested that the decline of big screen comedies can be attributed to the influence of Marvel's superhero films. According to Devine, audiences now expect to see films that cost $200 million to produce with spectacular special effects, something that comedy films don't usually offer. Additionally, Marvel films often incorporates humor into their narratives, which may draw audiences away from traditional comedies. However, this theory has been challenged. Critics argue that moviegoers in the past have flocked to low-budget comedy films alongside successful superhero franchises, and big-budget comedies that feature special effects often underperform. Further criticism has been directed towards contemporary comedy films themselves, with some suggesting that their decline in popularity could be attributed to poor quality rather than competition from superhero movies. For instance, Devine's recent Netflix comedy, The Outlaws, has been described as limp and bogged down by lazy writing and jokes from critics.
Sure.
So this guy's complaining that comedies aren't selling, and maybe it's because comedies aren't funny at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like his saying that Marvel movies and superhero movies, like that genre existing, was taking away from comedy. That sounds like bullshit. I mean, there's always like a flavor of the time span where, you know, we talked about Westerns being big. We talked about spy thrillers being big. We talked about, you know, there's like always been like that movie of that time. We were talking about like international film ripoffs and stuff like that. They always rip off what's big at the time. And comedy movies, like the 80s were rife with comedy movies because in spite of all these other kind of genres of movies being there, it provided another option. It wasn't something that it had to compete with necessarily. I don't think they're pulling the same fans. And I don't think the comedy that Marvel tried to put into their superhero movies is anything like something that somebody as a fan of comedy movies is going to see.
It is interesting, though. He's not wrong that comedies really did vanish. And I hadn't thought about it until I read that article.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a Austin Powers. We don't have a Ace Ventura. We don't have a Hangover. We don't have any kind of franchises like that, especially anything with wacky characters.
Yeah.
The last I can think of was Borat, and that wasn't even a true comedy.
You mean
it's the last character I can think of.
Well, I mean, I'd say it's a comedy. I wouldn't say it's not.
Well, I was talking more about, funny characters so much is more what I was thinking about. Because you don't see that. You don't see just funny characters. You don't see anything funny. Yeah, the only humor I'm ever seeing, I guess this guy's right, is in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But it's not because I wouldn't go see a comedy. It's because nothing looks good.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm thinking back to, like, the other guys with fucking Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, stuff like that, like buddy comedy movies. I mean, the Apatow movies, they were always comedy movies.
That might be the last ones. The Apatow movies.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's making anything anymore.
But yeah, I think that's a cop-out. I think what they're challenging it with there is that comedies just haven't been that good. I would side with that more than I would side with all the money is going to this and not to that.
Yeah.
If you're so goddamn good while you're on strike, how about you write something funny? We'll actually go out and see it, you prick.
Speaking of on strike, from the Hollywood Reporter, we're going to talk a little bit about this strike shit in these next two stories.
Okay.
From the Hollywood Reporter, Bob Iger, Hollywood union demands not realistic as escalated strike looms, right? So this is just from a couple days ago.
Yeah.
We've already had the WGA strike, and then the SAG-AFTRA strike started right after it. I love watching Fran Drescher speak on behalf of, it's so funny to watch her,
well, she's the president of the union, right?
Yeah. It's so funny to watch her like get up there, and it's like, she's not playing the nanny. This is an actual person, not the nanny. Got it. Okay. Got to get that through my thick skull. In an interview with CNBC, Walt Disney CEO Bob Iger expressed concern about the Writers Guild of America strike and the imminent SAG-AFTRA strike, calling them very disturbing and potentially damaging to the business. He emphasized the need for unions to be realistic about the business environment and the potential for huge collateral damage from the strikes. Iger also discussed the future of Disney, suggesting that the ABC broadcast network may not be core to the company and that he had held discussions with potential strategic partners for ESPN to help transition to a direct-to-consumer model. He stated that the traditional business model for ABC and its local stations is broken, despite the creativity and content that they have created. That's interesting. So he's already like, hey, ABC's like toast.
Yeah, but isn't that the threat that the other side's supposed to throw whenever somebody goes on strike? They got to put that fear out there.
Well, there's more. The interview followed the announcement of a contract extension for Iger, keeping him at Disney through 2026. He acknowledged the challenges of the entertainment industry's transformation amid declining linear TV revenues. Linear is like traditional, like we used to call. Yeah.
Episodic releases.
More how radio used to be. What did Howard always call terrestrial? So linear is like terrestrial radio. It's linear TV.
Network television. Okay.
So he says, challenges of the entertainment industry's transformation amid declining linear TV revenues and an unprofitable streaming business. So he's, admitting, hey, we were not profitable. Iger also addressed Disney's feud with Florida governor and GOP presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis, asserting Disney's right to speak up on issues and criticizing DeSantis's retaliation. He dismissed right-wing criticism of Disney's content, stating that the company's goal is to tell wonderful stories and have a positive impact on the world. So he kind of dodged that whole, hey, Disney, go woke or go broke shit that everybody's yelling at him. Finally, Iger discussed the challenges facing Disney's film business, particularly Marvel Studios and Pixar. He suggested that the shift to streaming may have taxed their resources and diluted focus, leading to some of the issues they are currently facing. I mean, this guy's coming right out and just finally saying everything we've been wondering and asking in previous episodes.
Yeah.
And the other news article that kind of ties with this, it's from Joe Blow. Joe Blow discusses the low ratings of the Marvel show Secret Invasion, which I'm watching now. I know you're not a big Marvel guy, but Samuel L. Jackson is on a show right now.
Yeah.
And people just don't care. People just aren't liking it. I've seen some of it. It's okay. But it's clear that the quality, the QA, if you will, has dropped completely in Marvel.
Sure.
It's fucking gone. So anyway, according to Samba TV, which I don't know what that is, but somehow they get, it must be one of these independent analytics companies. Somehow they have data that none of us have otherwise. According to Samba TV, the viewership for the premiere of Secret Invasion during its first 5 days of release was 994,000, making it the second worst showing for an MCU show on Disney+. In comparison, the series Loki reportedly scored 2.5 million in its first 5 days. As a result of these underwhelming performances, Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, has decided to pull back on Marvel and Star Wars related projects in an effort to cut costs. Iger has mentioned that the focus has been diluted due to the increase in movie output and the creation of numerous TV series. He also emphasized the need to assess how many sequels each character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe should spur out. Is that a word? Is that a phrase? Spur out? Spur out, and to explore newness for the brand. All right.
I don't know. I feel that the success of Loki had more to do with how pivotal of a character, Loki was in the movies. He was in the Thors. He was in the Avengers. He was a big character. Sam Jackson's guy was there in the background doing who knows what. Except for like Captain Marvel, he had a little bit of a bigger role, but nothing that was like front and center that anybody should care about. I feel like Sam Jackson was just kind of kicking around the background of these movies, and now they're supposed to people are supposed to care when he has his own standalone series now. Who gives a shit?
Well, I also think the quality is different in the story writing, right? So that's Loki leaving the motion picture world, coming to TV. That's already interesting. He's gone into a multiverse. We're just now starting to hear about this multiverse. So that's kind of interesting. Now we're bored as shit of it. But, there was something to it then. WandaVision came out. That had an interesting idea. But they're just not interesting anymore. This story isn't that interesting.
Yeah. Plus, Loki gave us Owen Wilson.
I think we had Owen Wilson before, but maybe they brought back Owen Wilson.
We had Owen Wilson as the character before the Loki show.
Oh, I thought you meant in our world we finally have.
No, I mean we have Owen Wilson in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, you do it good. I like it. Can you only do oh wow?
I don't know what else he says. I can't. Like, how old are we going to be when we stop crashing these weddings? I got nothing.
That's good. I like it.
Not that young.
You know what I like about our show? We're even funnier when our jokes don't work.
All the funny stuff gets cut out.
Yeah, you guys only hear the shitty stuff. We do it all wrong. We heard cut all the good stuff, leave it on the cutting room floor, only sell the shit.
Well, we got to come out 10 years later with the director's cut.
Every episode, the way you are supposed to hear them.
Wow.
This was interesting. So this came from Yahoo Life. Working actors are sharing what they are actually making from residuals in light of the SAG-AFTRA strike, and it's shocking. Thanks for the headline. It's shocking. The article from Yahoo Life discusses the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike and the shocking reality of the residuals that working actors receive. Many actors have taken to social media to share their earnings, revealing that they make far less than what is often assumed. For instance, Kimiko Glenn, an actor from Netflix's Orange is the New Black, revealed she received only $27.30 in overseas royalties. Brock Powell, that's a name, a voice actor for Disney, shared he made a total of $58.49 for 48 episodes of a Disney show produced during the pandemic, and even received a negative penny for an entire episode that aired.
What? That's insane.
The article also mentions that the strikes are a result of unfair residuals and the potential use of artificial intelligence to recreate performers' likeness without pay. The SAG-AFTRA strike, the first of its kind since 1980, was called after negotiations failed between SAG and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which includes Disney, NBC Universal, Netflix, Paramount, and Warner Brothers.
Well, I do have to say, that is shocking. Like, those numbers are ridiculous.
Well, I read this. My first question was, why'd you sign that contract?
Yeah, right.
And then my second question was, why did your agent let you sign that contract?
Yeah.
And then my third question was, how much did you get paid for doing the work of the day of shooting? And I understand their point of view. I mean, they're like, look, streaming is a new monster.
Right.
This shit, becomes content people can watch forever. If the organization, if the company I'm working for gets all that, I want a piece of that too.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll bet you do. I've been doing marketing work for clients for the last 30 years. One of them was, I shouldn't say, but one of them was a big company. The work that I did then, they're still making money off of. Should I get some of that money? No, that wasn't in my contract. I'm very confused by what they're complaining about. They signed these deals where they cheated, where they lied to. I don't think so. I think they just want more money.
I think when we talked about this before, there was the conversation of they don't know, they don't see statistics, they don't see ratings, they don't know how often these things are continued to be watched, so they don't know in this new playing field of streaming how to negotiate. Maybe that's true for the actors and the artists and the agents and everybody else. It remains more of the same for the actual, publication house.
I mean, it behooves Netflix not to tell somebody how much, viewers they had.
Same with Disney Plus. You can say it's a failed service and you're not profitable and not have to pay.
Yeah.
You don't have to show your hand.
I got to say, though, I own stock in Netflix. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I know their revenue, but they don't tell us what divisions did well. We don't know. Yeah. So they are really kind of keeping that under their hat.
Absolutely.
And it's a business. They get to do that if they want. If you don't like it, don't work for them.
Going back to something you said last week about Deadpool, and you were saying about how Ryan Reynolds ad-libs and stuff while he's going through the filming process, and that's technically writing, and because they're on strike, can he write and can he do that? Or you asked a question, something like that, recall?
Mm-hmm.
So I heard from an interview with Kevin Smith, he was saying that because that's filming in London, and also the same holds true for Beetlejuice, because they're filming in London, the strike here in the States doesn't impact productions across overseas.
He says that, and I read an article that says both those productions have been shut down.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
I don't know.
No, it's on the internet, so it's all true.
Well, that was on his podcast. You know, those celebrity podcasts, always telling the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the argument, and I'm probably more on the side of the studios here because they're trying to run a business. And yeah, the big guys at the top are making ridiculous money. Yeah, we all agree. Nobody loves that these billionaires are that big. But at the end of the day, that's capitalism. And they built the business the way they did for the money that they got. So if you don't want to be part of Disney, if you want to boycott Disney, don't go see their movies. Don't act in their stuff. There's so many other things to act in. And then maybe they'll negotiate with you. But right now, they're kind of in a position of power. Because as soon as any actor says, I'm not going to work with Disney, as soon as they get to the position where they're going to go, hey, we're not going to work with SAG anymore. We're just going to take guys off the street. They're going to get all their actors back. They'll be new, and we'll fall in love with them all over. So I don't know. I don't know how much strength the actors really have. I don't know how much strength the writers really have. Fuck, man. You know what? Call me a scab. Hire me. I'll write fucking Deadpool 3. I'll do it for nothing. You know, there's always somebody next in line to take an opportunity.
Well, there's plenty of people that are not going to see Disney movies already for political reasons, and they don't need any more reasons for people to not go see their movies. This whole phase thing, I feel like everything shifted away from superheroes. So Adam Levine, what was his name?
Adam Devine.
Adam Devine, you should be able to write some of the greatest comedies ever known to man because nobody's really going to see any of these new superhero movies. So they're going to be going away and they're going to have to shift to something. And actually, I think they're late to shifting to the next thing because they're trying to ride this thing out instead of riding it right into the goddamn ground.
Yeah, I love it. Well put. Should have saved that for your final thoughts at the end of the show. It'd be super funny if you say the exact same thing at final thought time. All right, one more article. This one came from you, and you found it on Newsweek.
Oh, yeah. Sent this over earlier today.
So this is about that movie Sound of Freedom. So it goes as follows, the article from Newsweek. The lighthearted family film Sound of Freedom, which addresses the topic of child sex trafficking, has become a surprise hit.
It's not lighthearted. What are you talking about? It's about Newsweek called predators. Really?
Newsweek called it a lighthearted family film.
What?
Okay, I added that.
I was going to say, what the fuck?
Grossing over $85 million at the domestic box office. Despite a relatively small budget of $14.5 million and fewer cinemas showing it compared to major franchise films, the movie saw a significant increase in ticket sales, making it the second most profitable film of the weekend behind Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I didn't hear of this movie. So you sent it over and I was reading this article. I'm like, wow, this little flick. I mean, this small movie's kicking ass out there and it's kind of working its way up through the side chain. I like that. That's cool.
So do you want to know the backstory to it?
Yeah.
So this movie was owned, the rights were owned by 20th Century Fox or 21st Century Fox, I guess it is now. And they had it filmed in the can. The Disney merger happens. Disney buys Fox. It gets shelved. It never gets brought out. So then they do like a GoFundMe or an Indiegogo or something like that to actually buy the rights of the film from Disney. So now they're releasing it real grassroots in independent movie theaters. It is in AMCs and things like that. So the conspiracy theory is, and I think QAnon's in on this, it's that because this is child trafficking, child sex trafficking, there's people at the top that don't want you to see this. So Disney bought it to kill it, but now you can't kill it because now it's really coming out that they're showing how this sex trafficking is going, and theaters don't want to show it because they don't want to spread the word. So it's become this whole politicized thing. I don't know that it's made $80 million because, you know, it's a great movie, but it's made $80 million because people will do what other people on television, on certain news channels will tell them to do.
Yeah, it says here in this article, AMC movie chains are getting yelled at by conspiracy theorists for suppressing the movie as well. Yeah.
They're saying that they're sabotaging the movie, that there's problems with sounds, that there's problems with this and that. And meanwhile, the AMC people say that nobody's shown this movie more to more people than AMC theaters.
Half the time, I think conspiracy theorists are just trolling all of us. Like, they can't really believe some of this wacko stuff.
I don't know, man.
It's not possible. Yeah, AMC Theater CEO is trying to keep this from the people. Yeah, whatever. All right. I haven't seen the movie. I mean, but is the movie full of conspiracy theories, or is it a factual movie?
This is Henry Caviezel. What's it? No, his name is who's the guy that played Jesus in Passion of the Christ?
Yeah, Henry Cavill. He also played Superman.
Henry Cavill. That's the same guy? No, it's not. Caviezel is the guy that played.
Yeah, I know you're trying to say. Okay. I can't remember.
I mixed up two pronunciation. Names. The guy that played Jesus in Passion of the Christ is the guy that's the main actor in this. And it's, yeah, whatever. I don't know.
I'm pretty over the conspiracy theories at this point.
Yeah.
I do my best to dodge them in headlines. It's just, I don't care anymore. Stop giving conspiracy theories all this credit. I liked them when I was young, but they were not off the wall. It makes me worried that too many people are scared of everything out there. That's no way to live. It is scary.
And that's coming from the guy who believes that 10 bad things are going to happen to him whenever one good thing happens to him. When that level of paranoia can tell you that you're out of your fucking mind, you better listen to him.
You fucking said it, man. In fact, everybody should listen to me always. I wish everybody would just do what I say and only the way I do it. And we'll all get along fine.
There you go.
With me. Well, that was the end of the news. And that means it's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Hope you were all able to hang into the whole thing today.
Well, you stumped me a lot. You finally found a game that could stump me.
Well, I had to pick some actors that you barely knew. That's the only way I could do it.
People that died 30 years before I was born. Yeah, that helped you win this game and stump me. You also shared something that I didn't know and something that I'm not watching, so I'm going to have to check those things out as well. But, yeah, good times. I hope this... I look at it this way. I feel that the strike is going to seriously impact the entertainment we have coming out over the next few years, both with the actors and with the writers. But on the silver lining of that, more people coming to look for us.
That's right. When they asked me to sign the contract for the WGA, I said, fuck you. I said, I have people to entertain. And we write feverishly throughout the week.
Yes.
For this content.
Especially the 15 minutes before we hit the record button.
And we definitely take use of AI. I use a lot of AI for these summaries. Yeah, they're not letting us into SAG-AFTRA. We're not getting in. So we will be here for you guys.
We're here for you. We do this for the people. No sympathy strikes from us.
And that, I believe, is your final thought.
That's all I got.
All right. Till next week, everybody. Have a great one.
Thanks for listening.